So my name is Lex, and I am a student in both the meteorology and honors program at Central Michigan University. And my presentation will be talking about FishCast, my app that I am working on with wet dog weather. So kind of a little bit about the project. So the mission statement is that FishCast is an interactive weather app designed for anglers in the inner lakes of Michigan. The app was inspired by my dad, who is a fisherman, and he's always asking me constantly, hey, what's the weather? And what's the barometric pressure going to be? What's the tendency? How windy is it going to be? Where's the wind from? And I kind of want to make an app that pairs something with non-meteorology to meteorology to help people in the specific trade. So my primary AI tools that I've used creating the app was ChatGPT for prompts, Claude Design for mockups, and overall building the structure of the app. And I used Claude Code, integrating Terrier data into my app. So Terrier is one of Wet Dog Weather's products, and I'm pulling all of my data directly from Terrier. So I've recorded a couple of demo videos, mainly for marketable purposes, but also that works well with this presentation. So I will be playing some videos that have been pre-recorded. Here I'm going to be talking about how I've gotten to the bare structure of the app. So what I did is I asked ChatGPT, hey, come up with a prompt for Claude Design. I would like to build a rough sketch of a mobile app that would help fishermen be able to forecast for a specific lake location and come up with an index to kind of show people where the best fishing conditions would be. So I'm going to play this video. This is FishCast, an interactive weather app for anglers in the state of Michigan. Here you will see the homepage. You can search for lake locations to forecast for using the map, or you can type them into the search bar. Here we're going to take a sample for Houghton Lake. When the screen loads, you will notice a value at the top of the screen. This is the max fishing index value for the day. Here it's 84. There's a best fishing window, an hourly outlook, a wind widget showing where the wind is coming from, a map projecting where the wind is at over the lake, a section describing today's weather. This is what's going into the fishing index. A section describing the different common species of fish in Michigan, and a daily outlook. So the features that are here is kind of the search bar where you can look up the lake, and then it goes into the lake page. You can select what location you would like to see, and then the fishing forecast for the day. Plot design was interesting. It even created this logo for my app. So that's kind of displayed in the app in the corner. And then, sorry, and move on. So working with Terrier data, after I was able to use Claude Design to come up with a mockup for my app and build the structure of it, the next challenge was getting Terrier data to actually work on the app. First, I had to kind of filter through what I would like to plot on my map and then actually find a way to plot it. The AI assistant in VS Code, which is the environment where I was able to get Terrier working on my computer, was helpful in assisting that. I did have issues with the AI assistant trying to push commands that I did not want. So I had to switch into the Claude app, which there was kind of a downfall with not being able to see all of your files and what is actually working, and it's kind of doing it all for you. However, it would ask
you will see an interactive map.
That was not supposed to happen. Okay. But the trade-off, I guess, is it did ask you for permission, so stuff wouldn't actually get pushed that you didn't want to have happen. So here I'm going to play the video.
Here you will see an interactive map. You can click into the panel and you'll see model data projected onto this map. Temperature automatically loads. You can toggle between temp, precip, wind, pressure, and cloud cover.
My video failed. I'm sorry.
Here temperature, and cloud cover. You can also search for lake locations on the map like you did in the search bar. The map has an option to zoom in and out to see more or less lakes. Here we are loading in Sanford Lake.
So now I'll show you more examples kind of the terrier data that I have working on the map. The goal creating this project wasn't to take over other weather apps. It was to make a fishing app so people don't have to go to the weather app if they don't want to. So the goal was for them to find the fishing forecast, but then have kind of a weather app side of their fishing app. So I have precip, pressure, tendency, and then cloud cover for people to see, as well as temp and wind. So after I was able to get the data projected over the map from Terrier, I worked more in each lake page. So that was kind of making sure Terrier data is working in the fishing index variables, making sure it auto updates to current conditions, working with each fish species, and doing my research on, oh, this fish is common here in Michigan, and this is the kind of the conditions that they prefer for fishing. A lot of that AI was very helpful in assisting me with coming up with a bare bone structure of what a fishing index for each fish would look like, but a lot of it was talking to fishermen and doing my own research. So I'm going to play this video to kind of show you each lake page.
Now we're going to look at the interactive features in the lake page. Here we can see the main components that feed into the fishing index: pressure, wind, water temp, cloud cover, and wind phase. You can click on any one of these panels to see the forecasted trend and how that relates to the fishing index. As you can see, each variable has different weights to the overall fishing index. Next, we'll look at the per species section. Here are the most common species to fish for in the inland lakes of Michigan. Like the index components, you can click on any of these panels to see how a sub-fishing index is weighted for each fish. Keep in mind all fish are different, so you will see they favor different conditions. If you're a user who's curious about how the index is rated, there's an information tab embedded within the app.
So that's kind of what I have for in each lake page. I wanted to create a each panel that you can toggle on and off and see the trend in the forecast, because a lot of variables, like obviously the atmosphere works together. Each variable is kind of feeding into each other. But fishermen don't exactly think about that. They think about, okay, well, what's the pressure tendency going to be like over the next few hours? How is that going to impact the fishing? So I wanted to make it user-friendly where you can actually click into each key to be able to see the weather forecast for each thing that fishermen want to see.
Now we're going to look at...
Okay, so the last thing that I was kind of starting to work on, I'm still working on this part of my app, and kind of jumping around with different ideas I've had with further developing the app, was kind of making a social media side to it. This was something that was suggested to me by the intern team, making like a FishCast community. So there's kind of an option for people to post pictures of their fish and be able to toggle the live conditions from FishCast and say, okay, well, I caught this fish and this is what it looked like in the app. So it's kind of helpful for me to make sure that the app is doing what it's supposed to. And obviously it's not going to be 100% accurate because, I mean, we can't control how the fish are going to bite. But it's a good way to kind of fact check, okay, well, this is actually working properly. Like, fish are biting right now. Okay, that's cool. So it's also a research component, and it's also a good way for people to interact and spread the joy on the app.
The most current feature I've added, and I'm still working on, is an option for users to communicate on the app. FishCast Community allows people to post pictures of their fish with the fishing conditions at their location. On the page, there's a statewide feed and sub-feeds to different regions of Michigan. Users can post on either the statewide or local feed. To create a post, you can click the plus button and choose to upload a picture. There is a text option as well. Like social media, you can interact with the community posts by clicking the heart button. There is also an option to delete your post if desired.
So building this was actually quite simple. I basically just asked ChatGPT again, give Claude a prompt and build this other page called FishCast Community and have all of these features. And it did it right for me. It automatically was able to feed in that data that I currently had on each lake page. So the live conditions. And it'll actually show from this lake, this was the index, this is what the conditions were. So it's a really good tool for those who are curious about fishing that lake. And there's also a privacy feature, so it won't share the lake location, it'll just show like the index score in case if people don't want to share their fishing secrets. So my plans moving forward with the app is I do have 2 confirmed people testing the app, one of which is a meteorology friend that I have. So he will be able to give me insight of this is kind of what the meteorologists are looking for, and then this is kind of what me as someone who is in the sport is looking for. He gave me kind of the example for the wind widget on each lake location to kind of see where's the wind coming from. So that gives you a good indicator of where the fish are in relation to the lake. So if they want to go hide under the structure because the wind is coming from a certain direction, it's good for people to kind of map that out. My next step is kind of launching and marketing the app. I do have a couple of ideas, especially with the social side of the app. I would, if I had another month, kind of like somebody else's question, if I had another month, I would be branching into the Great Lakes regions and other states and hopefully oceans. But that's its own whole other battle, which with more variables to consider, like the kind of like the different species of fish, what they prefer. Fishing, in the ocean is a lot different. Just like the structure of each individual fish, what the bait is. And plus the ocean is a big place. You don't know exactly where people are going to be fishing in the ocean, like how many miles from the shore are you going to be looking for. So I wanted to keep mine simple, knowing that I only had a summer. I wanted to be very simple and do just the lakes in Inner Michigan, but the Great Lakes would be my next step in getting the NOAA data and getting actual wave heights and lake temp data. So I'm also currently working on visual improvements to FishCast community, but now I am done talking. And does anybody have any questions about my app or about my experience here working with Wet Dog this summer?
So Terrace had a question about if you had plans to add information on the state of the sea or buoy data from the Great Lakes to give fishermen on boats a better understanding of the water conditions.
Yes, that is my exact next step, actually. Um, number one, because it's actually easy to get data from that source. And then number two, because that's kind of where I want to expand the app next. That yes, that's my next step.
And Damon's comment was it would be helpful to show where to fish for tuna because that's in large demand in Japan. So should you ever expand this globally, keep that,
This would take a
that's
long
something to keep
time.
in mind.
That would take a long time to do. I think I would, if I wanted to go that route, I think I would probably create something different and probably more of a web format instead of a mobile app because this is more like local fishing, if that makes sense. Not necessarily like industry. This is more like sport and I guess hunter gatherer, but not exactly mass. Um,
Fair. Thank you so much. One more question. What did you learn about the role that weather plays in recreational fishing? while
All
doing this?
lots. I actually am really curious now and like it going kind of towards more of the recreational route because I do have kind of I wouldn't say passion, but I'd say interest kind of more now. You learn you learn about each aspect of meteorology. It's very complex. And you don't realize people don't really understand that we do more than just talk in front of a green screen and then be on the news. Meteorologists, we need like meteorologists for every type of anything related to industry, especially like outdoor sports and recreation. And it's actually crazy how much we rely, I guess, on meteorologists. But if you want to know the technical answer, doing my research, you know what fish prefer, like what conditions that they prefer. So they really rely on like pressure tendency is like the biggest one. Like they prefer rising pressure. Most fish species in the Great Lakes region, um, you know, it's not, you learn about the myth busting aspects of fishing, I guess, because you hear growing up as a fisherman's daughter, I've heard, oh, winds from the east, fish bite the least, but that's not even the case. It's in relation to the lake, where is the wind coming from and where will the fish be? It's talking to other fishermen and doing my research has actually improved, I guess, my scope and like busted, I guess, the myths I already had in my brain about how to and to not fish. So I don't know if that was exactly the answer you were looking for, but
Sure, that was interesting. Thank you so much for your presentation. And I would like to introduce Antonio